Look at all this grass. Well, actually, most of this isn't grass. This is Colt Hamilton here with Hamilton Native Outpost, and I kind of wanted to show you a special piece of property we got. This is a bottom that was too wet to be plowed and put into corn like a lot of the Ozarks was. So it has quite a few native plants yet on it. It's kind of a native prairie ecosystem. It's a really wet ecosystem. It's actually referred to as a fen, which has water moving through it above and below ground. So it's a real wetland type situation. And kind of wanted to show you some of the plants that are growing here, both from a forage and a landscaping type aspect. This here is a dark green bulrush, which is actually a rush and not a sedge. Dotting bulrush here, but then when we get down looking closer to the ground, we find quite a bit of other types of plant material. And these here are some low growing sedges, and that's a deer tongue panicum in there. These are some lower growing sedges, which is how a lot of the sedges grow. They're shorter and they grow closer to the ground, but boy do they create a lot of dense forage. They're also green through the fall and winter months and into spring. Then they make their seed fairly early here in the spring. We're up about the end of May and they've got their seed heads on them. Their palatability starts to drop and go down, and then they'll kind of, the top growth will hang on through the summer, and then by fall they'll start new growth from the base. And this is that's a general overview of sedges. There's over 200 and some species of sedges that are native here. So they're a big part of the ecosystem, and of course they don't all behave exactly the same. So you get different variations between different ones. We like to use the sedges a lot as a forage species. They work great, particularly, this here's a bunch of wetland sedges. There's a whole nother class of sedges that grow up on the hillsides and more drier sites. So you're not just limited to wet, but the sedges really excel in the wet environments. They do well. They take a lot of foot traffic fairly well from livestock. They produce quite a bit of tonnage in that early springtime that we're looking for. And then what they do is they just yield way to the other wetland type grasses. You know, they'll grow a lot where eastern gamma grass will grow. There'll be a lot of big blue stem in with them, but it's getting on the wetter side of big blue stem here in this bottom. As they start to go through their life, then we get the seed heads on, they kind of quit growing, and they just yield their way for the next cool season and warm season grass front to come up through them. As far as landscaping, they're kind of, we consider them like a grass. They're obviously not a grass, they're a sedge, but they stay like a low growing grass and do quite a bit for that companion plant with the wildflowers that you plant with them, so they don't get up tall. This is dark green bulrush. It actually gets fairly tall, but a lot of the sedges stay short. That lets your wildflowers and stuff come up and bloom above them and not take away from the attraction of those. They're also used a lot by wildlife. We're actually grazing this in here with bison right now, and they'll eat around on the sedges some early. Then they yield way to, they'll start eating native warm season grass as it comes on better and better. So the deer use them some, I've noticed, in the winter, particularly whenever there's not a lot of green around. But they say the ducks and the Canada geese and those type of birds use them. There's also a lot of your songbirds that are seed eaters use a lot of the native sedge seeds. Surprisingly enough, there's a lot of insect communities that are centered around sedges that won't use other plants. They're just sedge using only. So it's kind of a neat ecosystem, and you can hear the birds and see them in the background of the video, or you probably can't see them and hear them in the background of the video, but this is a spot that's very much alive with nature, being used as a pasture. And you can have diversity of plants and a diversity of wildlife and forages all together, and it can even look attractive. This has been Colt Hamilton, Hamilton Native Outpost. Hope this video helps you along the way. If you like it, let us know. Subscribe there at the bottom page. Check out our other videos on YouTube and our website.
We at Hamilton Native Outpost make these videos to share the unique knowledge that we have gained from over 40 years of working with native plants as we raise and sell native grass and wildflower seeds. If you found this video helpful, we need need your help to get the message out. Please subscribe, share, like, and comment. It helps others to find us. Thank you.